So fork is basically when John has its own repo. The
Yeah.
the repo is under John's GitHub ID. What you did
Yeah.
was you basically took that exact project under your ID.
Okay.
So now it's under you, like under your ID. So that's fine. So all the branches will be as it is. You didn't create a new branch. You just created a new, like you just made a copy of that repo which was created under your GitHub ID. So what you can do is you can pull the dev branch in your local and run that. That should be working fine. And from that onwards, you can start making changes.
So like when we're working on the project together though, like he does stuff, I do stuff. If I have a separate repo, then how is it gonna combine properly? I guess I'm just trying to understand.
So one thing is you have to make sure that like when John is working in his repo, so it doesn't matter. So when you have to, so when John is working, he will directly push his changes to the branch. But for you, you need to push your changes from your branch, from your local. First, you need to push your changes to the branch, and then
Mhm.
merge your changes into his branch, is his repo, I would say.
Oh, so it'll have like two steps then.
Yeah, for you it would be two
Okay,
steps.
okay, okay.
So, but
Gotcha.
the main thing is like the main problem is when he's working and when you are working, how to make sure that you don't have any kind of conflict is basically first thing is you two need to like kind of communicate and try to work on different files. If he's
Hmm.
working on a functionality, it's better for him to work on different files and you working on different files.
Okay.
So then you don't face any conflicts.
Yeah, it's actually been fairly easy. So I'm doing like more styling stuff, and John's been setting up a lot of the like how things are gonna be going where and stuff. So um,
Yeah, so now when you're working, what you can do is you can you can pull the dev branch in your local and start making changes in that because I believe the dev branch is the latest branch. I'm not sure, but did you fork it today? Now, just now?
no, not today. This was at least
So
yesterday.
okay, so do one thing. You can see on the website on the did yesterday John push any changes into his branch?
Um,
Because I can see there is a if you see you there has to be some changes I think because yeah, if you go to the dev branch,
17 hours ago.
yeah, so that's yesterday. So go back to your repo, to the fork repo. Now here you can see below that code below the green button there is a button called as sync fork. Yeah,
Yeah.
click on that
Okay.
and then sync update your branch. So now whatever John has pushed, this will update all those changes in the John's repo into your repo in all branches wherever he has pushed.
Okay.
So now when you pull this code in your local, now whatever John has pushed, all changes will be there in your branch as well. In
Okay.
your repo, I would say.
Okay. So should I have this open right here? Should I like close this and then reopen it, or can I just
Did you make any changes? Like, are there any change code things which you have done already? Uh,
not in the last 5 minutes? But I've been busy since last night.
or I would say like just if it's like if you haven't if you don't have any code to push now, then I would say open it like fresh and then
Okay.
pull the dev branch on your local. You can delete this branch like code and then pull the dev branch on your local. And then like start from there. That's right.
Clone, right? That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, clone it. So put the GitHub link. I mean your forked repo link, not the yeah
It should be this one.
yeah
My,
that should be
mine, right? Okay.
yeah yours.
Okay.
Later on, you can delete the old project. I mean, there's no point in
Yeah, I
keeping.
got a million folders.
Just keep always the latest one. Yeah. Now once you have this, now go to your terminal. Open the terminal. I mean, I know with terminals actually, so I can guide you with terminal. Or there should be a terminal. Uh, yeah, you can see there's a down. You can see there's a terminal option.
Yeah. Here. Oh, this guy.
Oh yeah. Now here, go to that folder. Like, are you in that? Yeah, you are in that folder, I think. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
now just do git space branch, just to see if which branch it is. No,
Okay.
all like B, all small. Yeah. So it's master.
Master.
Yeah. Now do
Okay.
git space checkout
This.
checkout. No, no, not this. I mean, git. You remove this. Git. I was saying space. Yeah. So checkout space. Type dev. Yeah. Okay. So now this branch, whatever you make your changes, push into this branch, in dev branch.
Okay.
And then once you have pushed your changes, go back to your browser. Like normally, how you push your changes, just push your changes into this branch. So if you go to your GitHub browser, yeah, there. Now, once you would see your changes here in the dev branch, right? Once you push it, you would see your commits here. Later on, when you'll push anything,
Oh, okay.
these
Okay.
commits. Then, if you want to, if you want to merge these changes to the main repo, then go
I
to
do
the
sync fork. Sync
no,
fork
go
then.
no. Go to pull request. You can see there is a pull request option at top, beside top. Yeah, pull request. Yeah. Now here you need to create a new pull request, and that will tell you that you can see new pull request button there. Yeah. Once you click that, that will tell you. You can see there are like this is base repository is basically John's repository. You can even see the name John. I think some
Yeah.
John's repo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then this changes will you can just change it. You can just change a master to like change master to dev. You can change whichever branch you want to merge in what branch. So it's like source and target. And then you can change even that master to dev. Yeah. Now you don't have anything to push, but you don't need to merge this because you just synced it. But when you make any changes, you can push your changes there into John's branch. So that's how the process is usually.
Gotcha.
It's like a two-step
Okay.
process. First, you
Okay.
push it to your branch, then you do this part to push it to
Okay.
John's branch.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Thank you.
Aditya to the rescue.
Yep.
I mean, everyone knows that. It's not like something different.
You sound like Martin during the data structure algorithm competition right now.
No, genuinely everyone knows this. Once you just need to know it once, then you can do it.
Oh wow, that looks really good. Wow.
Uh-oh.
You put a lot of time into styling now, huh?
I was gonna show you how. Oh, you know what? I gotta restart it. 1 second. 1 second.
We got anyone new in here today? I know Mr. Christopher unmuted, said what's up. RSK, I saw a message from you saying that you're new and you wanted to work on something Java Spring Boot related. We should get Fernando because I know Fernando's learning Java Spring Boot right now, and I keep suggesting work on a real project to him. I'll send him a message and see if he's interested in building something with you. And then,
Hey,
hey,
I'm Raja. Yeah, so I attended this kind of meeting like once before, but that was like a while back, so this is my like first time joining again.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
cool. How long ago did you come?
I believe it was like maybe like last year. So yeah, obviously it's been a while. So you mentioned like someone named Fernando.
Yes.
He's like working in Java right now.
Yeah. He's learning Java and Spring Boot.
Okay, he's not in the meeting today, right?
Nah, I just messaged him though, so we'll see if he gets back to me. I don't know if anyone else here wants to do something Java Spring Boot, but just give it a minute. We'll see if Fernando responds. I know Aditya has Java experience, but I know you're focused on mastering your JavaScript right now. So, is anyone else interested in doing Java Spring Boot?
I'm and just to like say something. I'm not particular to Java. I just want like I also have knowledge on like front end languages as well. I could like work on it, but I just want some sort of a project to add to my resume
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have much like project experience. So
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Typically, the way we do it is we open up the floor for people to share project ideas that they have, and if other developers like your project idea, they build it with you, and if they don't, then they don't. um, and in that case, just, I don't know, come up with a better idea or tweak it in a way that it appeals to other developers, or come up with a different idea, that sort of thing, or just join one of the teams that already exist. So tonight I'm going to be working on the repair application. There's a few things that I need to get done. One of them is the admin dashboard. I'm getting some error about you can't put async await in a client component. And so I made some modifications and I pulled the async await out of the client component, but we're still getting this error. That's one thing. Another thing is navigating from the landing page to the actual form is 3 steps, and it's very slow. So there has to be a more performant, user friendly way to navigate from the landing page to the form. Right now, I'm passing the data that we need in the form from the previous pages in through the URL, the query string. And so I think there's a better way to do that, but I haven't really thought too much about it yet. And then that's pretty much it. I'm not going to work on the form at all because Bree is working on the form on her own time. So I'm going to kind of, like Aditya said, you don't want to work on the same files that other people are working on. So I'm kind of just going to block off that side of the application from anyone else working on right now while she does work on those files right there. But Anna, you want to go ahead and share what you have so far? And then if you want to share what you're working on tonight and break out, and then I'll go ahead and see what everyone else wants to do.
Sure. So I did a lot of styling in the last 24 hours.
I could tell.
This is currently what the homepage looks like. It's not perfect because I gotta fix like this. This is cutting off up here and here, but
It's unique.
this looks it's coming together. I've been modifying it a lot because at first, remember, it was like lime green. This is like totally different now, so we'll see what happens. But like for me visually, I like to see like where things are going, and I think that'll help with like the back end, like what needs to go to where. I think I don't know a lot about back end, like I've been saying, but I did start reading a little bit about API stuff today, but I got a ways to go. But so this is like a kind of like a template that I started to work on for like a profile page. So we're gonna have like a couple different profile pages for like a business or a user or an admin, and so they got favorites, and then I'm gonna build this theme toggler so that like pre-built themes that they could choose. I wanted to build like a color, like a CSS, like you pick your color and it just changes all the colors, and like it would probably be really complicated, but I would probably like doing it because I like CSS and colors and stuff, so I don't know how far I'm gonna take that. But so this, you could toggle the theme and then pick a theme on your profile, and then you have your favorites and your profile picture, and then the cart. So there's a little cart here from like a store, like say you're a user, this will be the area where items from that store go, items from the other store go, see cart 2, and then there'll be the master for the whole cart. So I think that's kind of how we're going to be setting it up. I need to talk to John one more time about that just to make sure I'm going in the right direction here. This is like a sample of a shopping page. We got everything pretty good. Like I want to show you the top.
Oh, you guys are here on YouTube.
It's fairly responsive. I want to move the search bar And then the about page doesn't really have much going on, but all the buttons still work, and there's like a little bit of a kind of an idea of what needs to happen next. So yeah, I was working on the background and this profile page earlier, and I'll probably continue with that. And so this is for anybody that doesn't know, it's like a mini shopping cart. It's going to be like Shopify Junior. It's going to be a little bit more friendlier and customizable. And we're going to see like how much we can integrate into it. I think we might be interested in doing the Stripe eventually. So we got a lot of work to do. And let's see what else needs work. So there's the themes that need to be built, so users can choose a theme. And I know there's probably like, other websites that you could just like have like a theme picker and just use that one. But I want to do it for the learning part of it. I don't want to just take something and just build something and build something. I want to like understand it. So that's kind of why I'm like doing more stuff so I can have a good understanding of that. And I'm like curious too. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
What are you working on tonight?
What else am I working on tonight? Honestly, what would I do right now? I might be ready to do this. Look at this theme toggler. I want to build like a nice box and have it like nice and organized. And I have a little, where are you? I have a theme picker here that doesn't have like much work done to it at all. It's just kind of like, I don't know if this is the best way to do this. If anybody else has any other ideas, I will definitely listen. I've never done anything like this before, so this is new for me. But I just want to make a nice little organized theme picker, and making the themes will be interesting. I'm probably gonna have to have I'm gonna have like a master CSS file, and then I'll kind of like tweak things, and then those will be the themes, if that makes sense, and then incorporate that into it like activating when the thing is toggled. So that'll be interesting to figure out how all that works.
Sweet.
Yep.
Sweet.
Is
I like it. There's definitely different ways to change the themes, but this works.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm sure there's like a predetermined preset theme loaders that you could just download and install. But I'm really not doing it for it to be easy. I'm doing it because I want to understand it.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Is it responsive?
It is like partially. It was better until I started messing with, but I can show you. It turns into a hamburger menu, but you see the search bar. This is I want this over there. So I mean, there's lots of stuff that anybody can. If somebody wants to fix that nav bar so that this isn't happening, you're more than welcome to do that. This could be styled a little bit differently. And if anybody wants to help me with buttons or how to maybe go about making the themes, you can help me with that. Yeah, so because we don't like have any carts because they're going to be populated once we have like a user, and then they connect everything, and John's working on all that. So I'm sorry, I'm not a very good person to ask for that, but I'm doing what I can from my part, and just learning. So if anybody wants to join me, you're more than welcome. And I don't know if I'm a very good speaker, but that's the best I can do.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot to work on this project right here. I've been thinking a lot lately about the way that people solve problems based on their level of experience. For example, what's something that everyone can relate to? For example, when you're teaching a kid to clean the house, you don't just tell them clean the house. You say, we take out the garbage. Let's walk over to the garbage. Let's grab it. We tie it up good. Pull it out of the thing. Bring it out. Bring it outside. Close the doors behind you. Come back. Put a new bag into the garbage. You know, you'll break it down step by step for them because they're brand new at it. But eventually, they do so many of those small tasks. You know, take out the garbage, clean your room. Even clean your room could be broken down into like pick up your toys, you know? So there's like these little mini tasks that even these mini tasks need to be broken down in a very detailed way. But this is just for beginners. So like at what point does it come where you don't have to break down the mini tasks anymore? Where you could just say, "Hey, clean the house." And
Right.
they have models for what cleaning the house is. So I'm working on a training that kind of just goes over like moving from a new developer to a junior developer to a senior developer. Like where do those changes happen? Like where are you able to break things down less for people? Because when we're working on these open source projects, there's a lot of people. The skill ranges there's massive differences. Some people are complete newbies. So some people have more experience, and you could just give them that big task, clean the house kind of thing. And other people need things broken down very very well. So I'm working on standardizing something for that. But it looks like tonight you have a lot of mostly HTML and CSS, right? A little bit of JavaScript maybe for the toggles and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, and John's here too. So John, is there
John's
anything you want
here.
to say about this project before you all break out into another room?
Actually do have a question for you, Jen. Just curious. So, Anna, were you able to figure out how to get your fork and push it to the original repo?
Yeah, DTS showed me a way to do that. Basically, because of
Amazing.
my fork, I have to do two things. So
Okay.
I push it to my branch, and then I do a pull request to your branch.
Okay. Awesome. That was one of the things that I know I'm working on right now. I've got the shopping cart wizard kind of built to a degree.
Oh,
And
that's
I can
right.
kind of share that. This is on the old styles, obviously, because I haven't got the pull from Anna yet, but I'll share my screen and just kind of show you what this is right here. So this is just a basic without styles, kind of like a generate your shopping experience. So you have your shop name, shop URL, and it's going to be styled into these little small sections in the wizard. You hit continue, you'll select a theme for your template. Once you get to this part of the cart experience, you'll continue on, and then you'll enter your username, password, confirm password, and then email. After we fill out the user information, we're going to go in and we're going to give them the ability to upload a CSV file and then download a template product CSV file to be able to check their template based on ours. So that way when they upload, the products come in cleanly. After that, they'll go into a summary area that will have the shop name, shop URL, and all the information that they just entered. Go ahead and check, make sure and confirm that everything looks good on this end. And then after this, they'll go ahead and there will be a button here that will say generate, and that will go into the back end and cause the API to trigger creating the database, the structure, and all the information that they gave us in the tables.
Nice. Nice. That's really good. That user flow combined with Anna's design is amazing. I love it.
So I pushed the latest, John. You should be able to find it.
I need
And
to
then-
pull that really quick.
Yeah, do that, and then then I can have what you have, because I think that's how that works.
As long as he committed and pushed it to the branch that you're pulling from, you should be good. So if you're on the dev branch and you're doing a git pull and it says everything's up to date, it's because you're pulling from the dev branch. So if he's pushing to the master branch,
yesterday, Anna, then it should be up to date.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even look in this wizard file. I see the wizard file.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you got the update. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
How does the wizard get like triggered? Is that connected to the
Well, on the first page, what we're gonna do is I just want a simple like when they first come into Microfy, I want it simply to be there like very quickly generate a cart or something like that, or go into the cart interface. They'll have like a demo button like we were talking about to go check out a
Yeah.
demo.
Mhm.
But on top of the demo button, we'll have like a generate cart area to where they can go ahead and go into that generate cart area, and that'll bring them directly to the wizard.
So is the demo going on the homepage? Is it going to be like a button?
That's what I'm thinking. Just because if you go to like a lot of places, usually the demo is on the landing page.
Okay.
Like when
Yes.
you go to that first page, like Snipcart, Shopify, all those things, you can kind of see that demo in live. And you want to kind of, as soon as they hit it, you want them to kind of have that ability. That way they
Okay,
can
so we
see
need
it
a-
right off the bat.
So we need a demo button.
A demo button and then a generate wizard button that will kind of, and we'll have, if you wanted to, you could even break those up into two little small boxes that have like demo area, and then generate like a same like spacing, but kind of like a double flex box
Yeah.
within that small component area.
Yeah, we can talk about the details when we get in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Say, let me see.
All right, so I guess if anyone who wants to work with Anna and John tonight, y'all could just hop into breakout room number 1. Does anyone have any project ideas? What's up, Aditya?
Yeah, no, I was like out. I mean, like, I don't have a project idea, but like someone mentioned about Spring Boot, so I have that. I put the link. So I did the Spring Boot project for like one of the interviews, for like the recent interview. So, like, I try to follow as many modern standards as possible, and try to integrate it with like MongoDB, like server MongoDB, and even like embedded Mongo and everything. So if someone wants to refer, they can refer it, because I mean, now I don't think there's any point to like keep it, hide it from anyone, because the interview is done. So now it's public, so anyone can see it. It's basically a REST service. I'm still trying to I'm going to learn over this model, just like basics things like how to store secrets and all. So I'm going to do that, but like not immediately. But yeah, I'm going to try to like do some more improvements to this project, just to be in touch with Spring Boot as well over this base project. So yeah, anyone can see it. They can open it and check the project.
Cool. All right, does anyone else have a project they want to share, an idea that they want to throw out there? And if people want to work on it with you, you guys could break out to breakout room number 2. All right.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hi. I'm just wondering, does anyone have any experience with... Yes, I'm talking. Yeah, if anyone have any experience in email development or know of it.
You want to build something email related?
Well, yeah, I'm currently digging into it a little deeper, but it's a very... There's no standard for it, really. It's like from the 80s or 90s, and they still use that standard when it comes to email development. So it's something that there's not a lot of material on it. So,
What do you mean with email development?
I'll give you an example. When you get a message from anything you subscribe to, whether it's Amazon, Walmart, your gym,
Okay.
and they will send you an email saying, hey, you get 20% off or something like that. They use HTML and CSS specifically, only that, to develop that email and tables from HTML. But it's
Yeah.
very, very, it's chaotic to do it because it's so old.
Mm.
Can you just write HTML inside the email that you're sending?
Yes, they do inline CSS for that. Like, it's very basic from the beginning of the internet time or whatever. So not a lot of people is aware of it. So I was just wondering if anybody have any ideas about it or have any knowledge of it.
I think if you are using Node.js or any JavaScript framework, you have a lib called Node Mailer, and I think it should work for you. I can send you a link from Medium. Just put it here. I think
Okay.
something like that should work. I'm almost sure.
Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
And just
It's worth
uh,
mentioning that a lot of the, how to say this, a lot of people tried to jazz up email. And it sounds like you're talking about the content, not the transmission system or any of that stuff, right?
Yeah, just the content, not the transition, just the content of it. How to
A lot of attempts to make the content, more modern turned out to be horrible security vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I believe he's talking about just the HTML and CSS used to design the emails that they're sending out.
that should be really easy, I guess. I never worked with it, but
I mean, you're really just writing HTML and CSS at the end of the day,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like a single page HTML, so it's probably easier than even building a website. But
Mhm.
someone did send, yeah, he sent the Medium.
yeah,
So.
it's easier to build than a regular website. I think the hiccup comes in when you have to run it with different clients because Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook, Microsoft, each of them have a different standard. So it's very, very hard to narrow down the standard that works on every single platform in one code.
That's how browsers were back in the 2000s.
Yeah, there has to be some type of standardized way of doing it, right?
Not really. Just most people use divs for development in website, but in HTML you have to use tables. If you don't, you won't even get not even two of the clientele working. You have to use tables, and then it gets really weird. But yeah, anytime you get a chance, look it up. It's actually, I thought it would have been easier than it is, but it's actually really complicated because of the standard that each client have for their to send out emails.
Can I ask why would you send it out from different platforms? Like why would you have an email strategy, marketing strategy for multiple different email providers? Like if you're signed up with Gmail, why wouldn't you just use Gmail? Why do you have to build it in a way that's accessible for all of them?
Well, it's not me building it. It's more like, say, the company that I work for. Say I work at a gym, and everyone that comes that sign up leave their email, but everyone has a different email. I'm going to try to send out a mass email to everybody.
Yeah.
So I have to tailor that code to get to everyone and look the same way on every client. And almost 70% of all the phones they use as well with the client.
Yeah, that
Mm,
sounds like a nightmare.
It is a
yeah.
nightmare. It
There's
Why,
gotta
yeah,
be
why
there's
but
gotta
don't
be a
you?
tool for that though.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you use like Mailchimp or something like that? They have
you
all
can't. Yeah, you
already.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have everything built. You only have to use it. So
They do have it, but you still have to write the code. The thing that Mailchimp provide for you is to test across all the phones and all the clients, so you can see where the mistake happens before you send it. So you still have to write the code, and you still have to
Mm.
do everything, even though you use Mailchimp.
hmm.
Yeah, so test your emails to make sure they display properly on all platforms given the variety of email clients and devices available. Yeah, so it sounds like just a lot of work. It sounds like
It,
you just have to build accessibility into it, right?
um, that's a different story. It's just the groundwork. Like you'll build, say, a landing page, normal,
Mm-hmm.
with all the divs, and it looks good on cross browser platform. But when you do email, before you even reach accessibility, it just, and I give you an example. Say you do a button that have an hover where it gives you a lighter color, or it fades. It might work in Gmail, but it doesn't work in Outlook.
Yeah.
Or it works in Yahoo, but it takes off the border, or the color might change in the button. Like you have 10 different problems with just one button.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to gather a resource to learn more about it as I'm digging into it more and more.
Yeah, this is saying that you have to declare styles for every individual element within its style attribute. So you have to actually just do inline styling on every single element that exists in there. That's wild.
Yeah, so you can't use the word button. You have to put it the open a link, a tag, put the word in it, and then style the a tag to look like a button. And you have to use table row, table data, and you have to put the same style on those two things. So when it goes to the client, because what happened in the client, once you send it to someone Gmail, they have they have auto reset to certain things. Like they reset your borders, they reset your tags, they reset your font size. So you have to do these things to make sure that they don't reset it. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a whole job in itself.
it is. It's one of those um niche fields. Not a lot of people do it, and it's really complicated. That I think the title they use is like email developer. So if you Google that, you'll see more on it. But
Yeah, Electron said, can you do a version for each one? So yeah, you're gonna create. Let's just say you have Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, or whatever. So you're gonna create 3 different HTML files, all with different CSS. The problem with that is that goes against one of the main rules of programming: is do not repeat yourself. There's gonna be tons of repeat code. So if you're able to actually just code it in a way that's dynamic based on the platform that you're using, that's obviously the best bet. It would be way easier to maintain as well.
yeah, there's a way to do. Well, you don't do one code per client. You just do one code, but the
Mm-hmm.
clients with the headaches, which is Outlook and Gmail, most times they have a thing they call ghost table. It looks like a section in the code that looks like a comment, like you comment out a block, but it's not a comment. It's still run, but it only runs when you hit that Gmail client to reset stuff or get rid of those hiccups. They call them ghost tables.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this something you want to work on with somebody else? If anyone else is interested in working on it, y'all could hop down to breakout room number 2.
I'm not starting anything right now because I'm actually on my phone doing it. I was just putting it out there to say if anyone actually come across any information regarding that.
Cool, cool. All right.
Alright.
So anyone else? And then I'll go ahead and share my screen and share some of the code I got going on right now. All right. So a couple things here. So there's a couple things that need to be done here. If you look at the file system of this project here, we have everything is inside the source directory. I have zip code data that I'm actually trying to import as well. I should probably take that and put that in the source as well, but all right. And then I have the app and the DB. We're going to go into the app. And so basically what I'm trying to do right now is I have a page.tsx. Actually, I need to go ahead and that should have given us a couple extra files. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's see what conflicts we got here. All right, let's see. Got map. Yeah, so I actually have all this code. I believe I pushed it too. Leaflet, GeoJSON. Alright, cool. No errors. Alright, perfect. So basically, I have this admin page right here. Right here, actually. That's just some other stuff. And I have an H1 for the admin dashboard, and I'm importing this map right here. Now, the problem is this is a client component. And so this is all my functionality for the map, and this is also a client component. So you can see in this client component, I'm just calling it map, and I'm returning just a div down here with the ID map. And then you can see this whole thing. I have this function called initialize map here. And that basically just gets the map instant from Leaflet, and I create some default settings. Then I set the map. So this state that I have right here, it's either going to be null or map. It starts off as null, and I'm replacing the null with the actual map instance right there. And then what I try to do is load the shapefile. So I have a shapefile and zipcode.data. That's that's all the zip codes basically. I have, and this is GeoJSON data. So I pass that into this here, and for each one of the zip codes or features, we get the zip code. We check the value for the zip code. So get value for the zip code, we're actually passing in the zip code from the data here. We're getting this from the database, and this value is going to be how many people have reached out from that zip code at this point. And then we're just returning a color. This is another function. This is a synchronous function though. We're passing that value in, and this is going to return a variation of green. So we basically want to map zip codes on this map, giving each zip code coordinate area, like space, a variation of green based on the value of how many people have come from there in the database. And then all this GeoJSON stuff we're adding to the map instance. Eventually, I don't want to get all the data. I just want to get the data from the zip codes that are showing up on the map. But that's a whole nother thing that we're probably gonna have to add up here. Filter zip codes based on map data. And then we update the zip codes. We're getting the bounds. We're creating the zip codes. We have the GeoJSON layer, which is what we just did up here. This is basically just a layer that we're putting over the map. And then for each layer that exists in this data right here, which is each zip code, we're going to go ahead and set the properties and push the zip code onto the actual zip codes that we want to be displayed. So there's definitely, I think some changes need to be made here, but then we set the display zip code. And then anytime anyone either moves the map or zooms in on the map, we're going to go ahead and we're going to execute this update display zip codes right there. And then anytime the map changes, we also execute this use effect right here. So that's what I have so far. It's not actually working. I'm getting an error because it's saying that we cannot use async in a client component, but I've done it like this before, so I can't figure out exactly why this isn't working.
Is the server stuff like nested in the client? I think you've got to use children or something then.
Yes.
Because you can pass down from the server into the client, can you? But you can't like have server stuff in the client. You've got to use like the children then, I think, like you do in the original layout.
Yeah, so this is the server function right here. So the only asynchronous thing is this right here.
Okay, and how is that called in the client?
Say that again.
How is that used in the client component?
So we're exporting this asynchronous function right here into this file, the client component, and then we're using it right here.
Well, would that, I can't quite figure it out, but would that be the same case where you'd have to use that as a children like you do in the layout? Because because you're accessing the server within. Do you know what I mean? Because you can pass data down from the server to the client, can you?
Do you have like some documentation that points that out? Because I know I've done this before. I know I've imported data into a client component from the server. There's just I don't know what's going on here. I believe that's a method. That's a way of doing it for sure.
And the other is,
but you're talking
again?
about fetching the data from the server component and then passing it down to the client component.
No, the other way around. If you've got a client component and you try to use server stuff inside it, but it's sort of like nested. It's sort of the opposite way around of passing the server stuff into the client. You know, you can do it the opposite way around. Well, not as easy. I think you've got to do like the children. Like as I said, like in your main layout, it's a server, but then what do they do? Because you sometimes use providers and that, don't you? When you're using client stuff, so that your children are still like you could still use server stuff inside children, but I'm not clear on it myself at all.
Yeah, I'm looking at the documentation right now. So this wouldn't technically learn how to handle form submissions and data mutations. Fetching. There are 4 ways you could fetch data, either on the server with fetch, we're not on the server with third parties, nope, on the client through a route handler. So we could fetch data through a route handler or with third party library. So if we're going to go ahead and we're going to be in a client component and we want to fetch data through a route handler, you can call a route handler from the client. Route handlers execute on the server and return the data to the client. This is useful when you don't want to expose sensitive information to the client, such as API tokens. See route handler for examples. That's not for us. Fetching data on the client with third-party libraries. No, that wouldn't be it. So we'll go ahead and just route handler from the client. Okay. What did you post here?
I don't know if this is what I was looking for, because this is where it's the client and then they got the server in and they use this children method, look. But I'm not sure if this is what we're doing. I can't really get my head around it.
Yeah, this right here is whether you want, this tells you whether you want a component to be server or client. Route handlers allow you to create custom request handlers for a given route using the web request and response APIs. Perfect. Route handlers are only available inside the app directory. They are equivalent of API routes inside the pages directory, meaning you do not need to use the API routes and route handlers together. Convention. Okay, so route handlers are defined in route.js. So we could go ahead and create a route.js inside the app directory. Do we want this data to be dynamic? And then we're creating an export async function.
Does this need to be an API folder, or do we not need that?
Let's see, do I already have one? No, I have an actions. I have an actions folder, so we'd actually need an API.
Then you use the route you said, because
route.ts.
Yeah, instead of the page.ts.
Route handlers could be nested inside the app directory, similar to page.js and layout, but there could not be a route.js file at the same route segment level as page.js. Route segment level. Okay. Supported methods, all the regular ones. Okay, so let's see. Response.json. Oh, so we're actually going to be fetching from headers, data, and then response.json. Alright, so then we respond with the data. Okay. We don't need the post, we just need get. Alright, so you can consider a route the lowest level routing primitive. They do not participate in layout or client-side navigations like page. There cannot be a route.js file at the same route as page.js. Okay. So app/page and app/route, that's not going to work. They can't be in the same directory, essentially. But app/page.js, app API, route.js. Okay. And then the client components can access any route that you want them to access, right? So we'll just go ahead and say route.ts for now. If anyone wants to hop into the code editor and code along too, as we do this, I'll go ahead and post a live share in the chat. Feel free to hop in. All right, and then just now the question is just how do I access that? So but this is only gonna get me the data if I go to /API though, route, right?
I thought so, yeah.
Conflict. Okay.
I don't really understand how it does anything different from the server action, but what's going on?
That's what I'm saying, because you're still just calling it from within the client component, right? You know what? I wonder if...
An API call is inherently async.
Yes.
It has to be.
Yeah. That's the thing. At the end of the day, the only thing we really need is this data right here. Everything else is logic that's happening within the client component. This is the only little piece of data here. Okay, and then yeah, I don't see anything else. Yeah. But even when we create this route, we're still going to be fetching from within the client component, right? That's my question. Let me do Stack Overflow real quick.
Ideally, you'd want your API just to return the limited zip codes you want to show on your map.
Yes. Client from the API route. That's not a client component though.
We can't put that code in the server, this const GeoJSON in the server, and just return what it outputs.
Say that again.
You know this line, this on line 39.
Mm-hmm.
This got to be in the client component. That code can't be in the server.
Let's see. So
And then pass down the result. What result does that put it at?
this right here. I don't even know. Well, this is just outputting or it's supposed to output this shapefile right here, which is this is going to be on the server. These files are going to be on the server.
And then they got to output, what are they going to output? A list of stuff, a list of data, or?
Yeah, it's basically zip code data.
So could you call that on the server and then pass it down?
Well, we would just make a request to the server from the client component, because the client component is going to be rendering on the user's computer, and so as the page loads, the client, when it navigates to that route, then it'll make a request to the server. I don't think, yeah. That's what I'm trying to look at right now. Route TS and server components. Okay, so this is about server components. The best way to fetch data in a client component. Alright, so let's see what they're doing here. Alright, so they have something similar here. Async function, fetch data, right? Because this is the client component. See? Client component. Use effect with an async and a server action. So we have this is our server action. Which is, so we don't need API and routes, honestly. We have actions, and we have, this is our server action right here. So import the server action from server actions, data, just await. So they're writing their function not as an arrow function, just as a function. Async function, fetch data, and then at the bottom they fetch data. Okay, so that's the pattern we're using here, right? And then you could also do, so that's one way. So this should be working. This is set up. The only difference between this code right here and what we have here is that I wrote this as an arrow function and they have it written. They have just the traditional function declaration with the function keyword.
Shouldn't be different, should it?
I've had issues with like the this keyword between writing functions different ways, but I don't think it matters here. But I'm also not positive. JavaScript is funny like that. All right, and then the other way we could do it is use effect with route handlers. So fetch API. Okay, so you could just put okay. So you could just put, and you could just do /API and then whatever the route is going to be. So that's another way. Still using use effect. And they're using then, .then and .catch. That's yeah, so this is okay. Maybe we just need to use .then for this then. Instead of using async await. Let me see. .then. But here, no, because here they use async await. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and just write this. What's it called? Initialize map. So we'll go ahead and call this initialize map. Async function initialize map. Okay. And then we execute. If there is not a map, then we execute this function right here. All right, that's the only difference between the code we have here. Because this is our server action, load shapefile, and if we look at this one, async function, load shapefile, put the URL in, and then yeah, and we have use server up here. So I'm not even quite positive if I gotta go through this logic and make sure everything is good too. But all right, cool. Let's try that out. If not, I mean, we could use a route handler, but I've definitely done it like this before, so. Okay. Get Docker up and running. Are you able to hear me? Looks like it.
Yeah.
The other night I lost my microphone, so in the middle of the event, so just making sure. All right, so everything's up and running. Let's go ahead and localhost 3000. Did anyone want to take a look at the other issue we had here? I'll pull up the GitHub. I actually created the issue today because it's really bad, really bad. Improve user experience for navigating from landing page to form. So I added a ton of information in here and the directories that this problem is found in. But basically, while this application is loading, I'll show you this. So in the sign up, actually it's not the sign up, it's devices. So this is basically the path from the landing page. So the landing page is just page.tsx in the root of the source directory. And then when you click get a repair, it brings you to / devices. And so on / devices, you get this page. This is basically a bunch of cards that are showing the different devices. But you can see that I put a link on each one of the cards navigating to paths.manufacturers with the device ID. So if we go to the paths, you can see manufacturers is going to return devices with the device ID and the manufacturers of that device. And then you're going to end up on this one where we have same thing, a bunch of cards, and you can see in here, actually, this is the one for manufacturers. Then you can see here, we're navigating to path style models, which is this one here. So it's basically passing in the devices, device ID, manufacturers, manufacturer ID, and models. And then on the models page, you can see that I have just one form, which this is like a really hacky way of doing it, but I was like, let me just code it up. I didn't even think about it. And when you click one of the cards, you're passing devices to form. So basically what this is doing is actions, submit devices. This is just taking the device ID, the manufacturer ID, and the model ID from that last page, basically extracting these three things off of the URL and then redirecting to a sign up page that includes this information, so that by the time we get to the form, we're able to populate the questions on the form based on the device ID. Now my thing is, if you look at the application and how it's working, this is the flow I just showed you, but this is the user interface. So when you click on get it fixed, see that took a long time for a Next.js application. I know these are server-side components, and then I click on this. Look how long that took. It's not supposed to take
Mine
that
is
long.
pretty slow in development, but then when you push it to production, it goes a lot faster. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, I've never felt, yeah. It's always been like really snappy for me, and then I know that, oh, so that's where the merge conflict is. We found that one. Okay. Yeah, it's always been pretty snappy for me. So let's go ahead and just fix this merge conflict real quick. So on the sign up, we have our page and schedule. All right, so we have you know what? We'll take the incoming change. This is, yeah, so she got rid of the date input and the time input. Session, duration, inputs. Okay, yeah, so we could accept the incoming change. All right, so that's what Bree did. It looks way better now. I'll go ahead and show you guys. Let me just... Alright, now everything's updated. Alright, and then I'll show you guys the form page. Let me just... one other thing is... I don't think we should have to restart the containers when there are changes that are being made. Like if changes that are being made in the code base, they should automatically reflect in the development environment. This like for me to do make, restart, and rebuild this stuff, there's got to be a more automated way. It just doesn't make sense to me. But let's see where this is. All right. What's up, Ivan?
Hey, how you guys doing? Talking from my phone. If you hear me like kind of weird.
Nah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm missing today because there was a meetup that I wanted to participate about this guy that made a library that went viral, and he was explaining how he went from 0 to almost 1 million in NPM and GitHub, and how he couldn't almost handle because having family and everything, like the maintenance of the package. It was I wanted to learn from others' experience how they handle things. So
Yeah,
today I'm
cool.
fundraising, so I wanted to join a little bit to see how you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're just we're trying to get this. We're trying to fetch data from a client component from the server, so I think we got it, but We might have to create a route handler.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss this because I want to learn how to kind of like set up my mind on Next.js to see what is the server side, what is the client side, and how to be aware of both. And I know you guys are doing it, so it's a shame that I've been missing that. But maybe one of the study guides is gonna be on Next.js, so I can learn a little more. I mean, there's plenty of resources out there, but we are here now in the community. We can learn from each other and believe it's better.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
that actually looks really cool what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're just Bree actually built this, so
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, nice little scheduler. There's some changes that need to be made, like we have the calendar, but the appointment date too. It doesn't make sense having the appointment date and the calendar. It's redundant. You just need a calendar or the appointment. So there's like and career check-in, strategy session. Those two things don't really make sense for this type of application. Consultation does though. And they're not really choosing the duration either. So each one will probably. Yeah, this is
very cool. I'm
changes.
gonna go home now and probably will connect about 10 o'clock. If you guys are around, I'll connect. But otherwise, I'm just gonna keep working on myself.
Cool.
About 10 o'clock probably.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks for popping in.
All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you later.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Oops. So if we go to local host 3000 /admin. Let's see if we're still getting that same error. Yeah, so async await is not yet supported in client components, only server components. This error is often caused by accidentally adding use client to a module that was originally written for the server. So we know for a fact that the problem is this, because we're taking this function and we're importing it here. Now my question is, well, we are using use effect, right? So I wonder if we have to make this a client component. Because if you're able to get leaflet, we could compile this on the server, right?
So
It's interactive though. That's the thing. It's gonna end up being client.
Yeah, but you want to do any kind of heavy lifting on the server.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you interact with the map. So you like move, you zoom, all that stuff, all those events that are happening on the front end. So the map is going to be
basically your location. You got a center of the map, which is just a location, right?
Yes.
If you move, all you're doing is moving the location of the center of the map.
Yes.
If you zoom, you're changing basically a radius, which would be can also be expressed as a latitude and longitude difference. And those are the two things, those are the only two pieces of info that the client needs to send to the server in order to get back a map, with the right number and size and shape of, zip codes.
So you're saying you could put like client components like where the zoom is or something like that, and just all this be a server component.
Yeah, all the client should do is display.
Let's go to the leaflet documentation
And
check
just
this
for
out.
the on click on the.
Let's see. Map set view. Check out the docs. I believe that these events that happen on the map are all happening in the browser, right? Mouse up, mouse down, all this stuff. Like these,
Yeah,
these,
that looks like client stuff.
yeah, like these don't exist on the server. So if the map is triggering these events, then the entire map will have to be client component. No, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure. And that's what this component is. It's just supposed to be the map, because I want to be able to maybe embed, like, create multiple maps that do different things. So I just wanted to create like a separate map component, and then eventually initialize map will have variable or parameters passed in that create like different types of maps based on what you're passing
Well, they
in.
got a zoom right there. It's a straight number, zoom 12.
Yeah, and I did draggable false and box zoom false for now too, but there's still tons of other events that exist on this map, and so it's gonna end up being a client component.
Yes, the display of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could try to make a route handler. The thing is, my question, I prefer using the first method because it allows me to reuse server actions for both fetching and mutating data. However, the Next.js documentation states that server actions are primarily for mutating data and not for fetching data in client components. It also recommends using route handlers for fetching data. Yeah, true. What's the best practice for fetching data in a client component? Let's see. Only one answer. Come on. Route handlers with data fetching libraries such as React Query or SWR. Is it acceptable to use server actions within useEffect for data fetching in a client component, or should I strictly use route handlers for this purpose? No, see below. It's best to use data fetching libraries, but if you really want, you can still use useEffect, but route handlers are required. Why? See below. Are there any performance or architectural considerations I should be aware of when choosing between these methods? Server actions cannot be run in parallel, so that completely disqualifies them for being a good data querying method. That makes a lot of sense, because if a page needs multiple different things from different places, those route handlers can all be run in parallel, pulling data at the same time asynchronously, whereas with server actions only one is going to run it at a time. So I guess route handler is the way to go. I guess we'll though he does just say that it's not a good data querying method, but we should still be able to query the data. That's the thing. I know I've done it before. He's not saying it can't be done. He's just saying it shouldn't be done.
You're fetching the map API, is it?
Yes.
I think they usually say you're fetching outside APIs. It should be done in the route handler, is it?
Well, no, I'm not fetching.
No.
No,
LMAP.
LMAP is a package. I'm fetching just the shape file from our file system.
For right now, why don't you ignore the shape file and just see if you can pull up a map? What's the base map before you start adding layers to it?
Good question. Just this map here, and then yeah, so if I go ahead and just get rid of all this for now. Well,
you need a little bit of it.
Yeah, we need the map instance. Alright, so let's just change this for now, because I'm going to take out the asynchronous stuff. Let's just create the map instance and then set it here. That should be good.
Yeah, everything in your try block.
If no map,
Try
missing a curly brace. Right here, maybe? No. There we go. Alright. Cool. Alright, let's give this another shot then. I'm gonna go ahead and not even import these. Initialize map. It's saying that we're not, its value is never read. Let's just initialize it regardless. For now. Oh. I believe we put it in the wrong place. Map instance. I think I put the
Your map instance variable is scoped inside that function.
inside initialize map.
Yep.
Yes. That's what we want. And then the bottom of initialize map. Oh. So this. There we go. Okay, so we're initializing map regardless. Alright, cool. Now it's being used. Alright, cool. Let's let me actually, while this is loading right here, I'm gonna go ahead and send a message to Anton because I'm curious about this. Anton. Is there a way for automatic updates on code changes in the code base during development? Right now it seems that I have to use make restart to rebuild the containers and see recent changes in the browser. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, let's see what we got now. So now we're not using even async await. This is just a straight up function inside use effect. And we should be initializing the map here. And if there's any changes to the map, then we execute this use effect function again. So, alright, cool. And then ID map, cool. Alright. Huh. That's strange. Initialize map. I don't think this is asynchronous. Let's check. Map. Okay. Instantiates a map object given the DOM ID of a div element and optionally an object literal. So string ID and its options. Map, string ID, matches this, yeah. But I don't see anything about it being there's nothing that says anything about let's see. Methods. Let's see. Yeah, so this looks like let's check Stack Overflow. Next.js, Leaflet.js. Is there anything related to those two?
Try this leaflet without the JS.
Next.js 13. React Leaflet. Let's see what that is. Map container. Okay, so this is actually importing the map in a different way here. That's interesting. Next dynamic. Server side rendered false. What's that called? React Leaflet? Let's check that out. This has to talk about Next.js. React Leaflet, React components for leaflet maps. Okay, so this is a map container. You can create markers, tile layers. Huh. Let's see. Doesn't render layers, it's done by Leaflet. I wonder if we should go with React Leaflet because it's built specifically for React versus going with Leaflet. This is actually what we're doing. So we should be able to use Leaflet straight up. I wonder if there's anything on.
I don't think Leaflet is causing your problem though. I think it's React.
Yeah, and this div is gonna render in the browser with the ID map, right? Next.js doesn't create like new IDs for the elements or anything.
I see an example here that using useRef.
Use
useRef used on React. I've never used that before. I don't know what you use that for.
I believe you
There's a
use it
couple
to
of-
refer to values in the application, but I don't believe that you'd be modifying or changing these values. I believe it's just used to refer to.
Hold on then.
Yeah, let's see.
Mm.
All right, let's check this out. Okay. My next map. Create the map component. All right. Use ref, use effect, use state, use client. Yes. Do we have dist leaflet? Yes. So we have that. And then L from leaflet. Yes, we have that. Styles. So I guess you could add your own styles to it. And then what's this one here?
This whole technology is based on there's a giant image that has all that, the streets and the water and all that, and that's immutable. And that's like a background image basically.
This
So
is
you're
here. This is
grabbing subsets of that to actually display in the client.
yeah. So they're adding a layer to the map basically, because the map comes with its base layer, right? And then we're able to add layers to it, whether it's like
And I think
there
that
was
Tyler layer is the map itself. You know, what we see behind all the stuff we pile on top of it.
nah, I think this is a custom layer that they created that they're importing from somewhere else, no? Affected tiles. This is a binding from MapTiler to the popular leaflet. Is an extension of MapLibre, fully backward compatible. The typical leaflet plugin usually adds new elements directly in the global object L. Even though this API design is now a bit dated and somewhat frowned upon, we want to maintain the dev experience for those used to this. For this reason, you will need to import the plugin, but not a specific object from it, as MapTiler is internally added to L. Yeah, so this is like an extension. This is like an extension of Leaflet, essentially, right?
There's also a starter, your next leaflet starter. And I think they're using React leaflet for this one.
Yeah.
I can show you.
So
this.
with this extension, then L is gonna have additional functionality added to it. But I believe these things, this is definitely already there. Leaflet, MapTiler, SDK, L, map, container. Okay.
set center, X and Y, and a zoom.
Mm-hmm. Set view. Yeah, so that's some extra. Or you could just add the stuff as an object to the map method instead of creating this separate method, set view. Though, I guess they're both pretty readable. So, alright, so we're here. Create map, export default map, map container. So this is where he's using the use ref, setting it as null, map, use ref as well. Constant center. Okay, zoom. Okay, so there what he's doing is all of the things that I defined inside the map instance, he's actually creating state for each one of those. That's interesting. So if map current, return map current equals new L map. Do we have? I don't think we have new. Do we need that? New L map container current. Yeah, so he's creating it the same way. Map. Okay. New map tile layer. Your map tiler API key here. Yeah, so this map tiler, yeah, so you don't need this map tiler. Center one, zoom. Okay. All right. So we're passing. Okay. So we're passing a reference of the map that we created to div. So the way I have it set up is I'm passing it through an ID. They're passing it through a ref. So. Alright. So this is one way of going about it. I guess, you know what? We should really think about it before, because what I was doing before was I was just coding. And then I kind of like code myself into a mess. So I'd rather explore a few different options before actually selecting one and just see the different ways of going about it and then choose the one that makes the most sense. So ref is an option, but what exactly, let me see. It's just a reference to a component, it looks like. At the top level of your component to declare a ref. Initial value. Yeah, so here it just started off as null, right? Yeah, use ref null. An object with a single property, current. Okay. Initially it's set to initial view. You have passed. You can later ref attribute to a JSX node. Gotcha. React will set its current property. On the next renders use ref will return the same object. So okay, so it'll remain the same throughout renders. You can change it. Do not write or read ref.current during rendering except for initialization. Alright, so interval ref, use ref. Alright, so this is one option, huh? Use ref. I wonder if, because the way we set, I still don't think that the way we set it up has to do with this error. My question is, why are we getting this async error when there's literally zero async functionality in this project right here? That's what I don't understand. Because I pulled even this, I pulled async off. And we don't have anything asynchronous happening here. This L map, this is an object that already exists in our node modules. buried deeply. And then, yeah. So, the only difference between ours and this one here is they're passing ref into the div. They're still using lmap. Well, we're using lowercase m. Value of type map is not callable.
You have new before it.
So it does require the new keyword, and it's a capital M. Right here, because that's leaflet right there. Current container. Map container. Alright, so that's a ref too. But map.current. Okay, so he's creating the new map. Map container dot current. That's gonna start off as null. So it's not even attached. Ah, okay. Because here we're saying we want this ID to match this ID. That's pretty much the way you've done it in HTML. I haven't done it like that in React before, but what they're doing is they're replacing this null. They're replacing that with null. I'm getting an error. But map container dot current. Okay. All right, I see. I wonder if there are other ways of going about this, because we could go ahead and make these changes. And let me see if this is working now, because before we were calling lmap now. And then it's 8:56 right now. I wish we had actually gotten more done. But part of the game, right? I'll just give this one more reload since I made some changes. See what happens. Anyone have any thoughts or questions or comments or anything? I haven't been stuck on something this long. It's been like 2 days on this one problem. So I'm like, man, I want to figure this out. Before even choosing an option, we need to really just explore all the different options and decide what's the best way to move forward. And then that's why I love using new technology and new libraries like Leaflet, because you do the same thing over and over, and eventually it just becomes a little bit easier. But when you learn new stuff, yeah. So we're still getting this here. I wonder if, because you got to be able to do it without use ref too, right? I'm going to read a lot more tomorrow. Is this the one you shared?
I did look at that one, but I didn't share that one. I shared the one underneath. This time.
Default icon. Alright, so he's using React Leaflet. Map container, tile layer. That's what we're gonna need. My page, use memo, and then return map. Okay. This is the second time I've seen it done like this though, where they're using dynamic in the import. So that's interesting. I'm gonna look more into that as well. That was a quick article, man.
Yeah, that's the one I posted. It's got
Yeah, let me post these ones as
I
well.
get the page.
Create next tab. Leaflet starting. one seems the simplest. Map container from React Leaflet. That one seems like the most is being done with the smallest amount of code. Should probably go ahead and create a couple branches and just, I would really like to explore a couple different options and code them out just so I could see if they all work as well. This one's a little bit different. You shared that one already. Let's see. Yep, they're doing it the same way as this other guy. React Leaflet as well. Map container. This one has a pop-up. We're gonna need the tile layer. Okay. The imagery of the world that you base your map on. Okay. I'll save this one too. I want to actually read them. Well, cool. All right. Let's see. Anna and John are still working in breakout room number 1. I know they have like some HTML, CSS, and other React stuff, small JavaScript functionality. If anyone wants to work with them, feel free to drop out to breakout room number 1. I'm gonna hop off.
I have to shoot off now.
Okay. Yeah, it's late for you, man, huh?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. now.
Wow. All right. Well, have a good night.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you think of anything, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, see ya. All right, Kev. All right, Shadrock. I will see you tomorrow. Yep, last night of the week. All right.